2, Deuteronomy 12, 5, 11, 14, 18, 21, 26, Deuteronomy 14, 23, 24, 25, Deuteronomy. All those verses where God said, I will place my name on what? Guys, please. I will place my name on what?
Hamakom. On
Hamakom. I will place my name on Hamakom. And here he says, I'm going to raise up that sukkah of David, whatever it is, so that they may possess the remnant of even all the Gentiles who were called by my name. Gentiles, not Jews. Right. Gentiles who were called by my name. That I'm going to put my name on it. Now is it starting to make sense? Good. Good. Okay. Now go to Acts chapter... Go to Acts chapter 15.
So now these aren't even in the notes.
Acts chapter 15, please. You have to add it if you want it. It's not in the notes.
Stop. Straight.
Okay. What's happening is this. Everybody's come together to figure out what in the world Paul's doing. He's preaching to Gentiles. And everybody freaks out.
You're right. That's it.
Come back.
Yeah, that was it.
Everybody is freaking out because Paul is
one more.
He's preaching Yeshua to Gentiles. And to Jews too, but it's the fact that he's talking to Gentiles that's freaking everybody out. And in verse 12, chapter 15, verse 12, it says, all the people that are there, all the Messianic Jews and Messianic Gentiles who were there. I said, verse 12, all the multitude kept silent, and they were listening to Barnabas and Shaul as they were relating what signs and wonders God had done through them among the Gentiles. Now, this is a gathering of all the highest Messianic leaders in Jerusalem. And they've got a huge problem with what he's doing. After they had stopped speaking, Jacob answered, saying, brothers, listen to me. Simeon, that's Peter, has related how God first concerned himself about taking from among the Gentiles a people for his name. And with this, the words of the prophet, look at me, please. As a proof text, you think he's going to say something powerful like, God shall take the Gentiles, and I shall love them, and they shall know my ways, or something like that, right? He doesn't. He quotes Amos 9.
Wow.
Look at it. And with this, the words of the prophets agree, just as is written. After these things I will return and rebuild the fallen sukkah of David.
What?
Exactly. That's exactly what you should have when you read this. What? That's his proof text that Gentiles can believe in a Jewish Messiah? That's his proof text. And nobody argues. That's right. That's exactly right. And with this, the words of after these things I will return and rebuild this fallen sukkah of David, and I will rebuild its ruins, and I will restore it in order that the rest of mankind, that's the Gentiles, may see the Lord. And all the Gentiles who are called by my name. David is in an unsanctioned city, in an unsanctioned tent, doing unsanctioned things, and it's perfect. Because God says, that's it. You found it. That's the right place. And it's not what anybody else thinks. They're all up in Gibeon.
They were doing it wrong.
They were in Shem, Bethel, Shiloh, the cities of the Philistines. Kiryat Yearim, the ark was there for 20 years. Then it goes to Gibeon, the tabernacle goes to Gibeon. Everybody's doing it wrong. And you found it.
Hundreds of years later.
That's correct. That's correct. Almost 1,000 years later. And he's doing it right. And God puts his name, I'm going to go like this now. He puts his shin on the heart of the Gentiles. Because David calls himself Rosh HaGoyim. In 2 Samuel 22. Head of the nations. Basically, king of the Gentiles. He calls himself Rosh HaGoyim, head of the Gentiles. And God puts his shin, just like he said, there's going to be a place that the Lord chooses to put his name. And then he says in Amos that he's going to do that to Gentiles.
Yeah.
And it's the fallen sukkah of David, this unsanctioned tent. Some weird, different, new thing that's right but wrong. It looks wrong, but it's right. This is Gentiles coming into a Jewish body. What were you going to say?
The long process.
Live long and prosper. God's name is there. He says in 1 Kings 14:21 that of Jerusalem, God's name is there. Psalm 48, 1 through 3, it's the city of God in the far north. It's not the north of anything. It's in the far north, in heaven. So there's a Jerusalem above and a Jerusalem below. Now in this picture that I've got on your notes on the bottom, this is an illustration I did a long time ago. And it has the hand with the tefilah on it in the form of the shin. And then it has the shin on the three valleys going around Jerusalem. Because God said I would put my name there, El Shaddai, the shin. And there's the three valleys. One goes on the right of the Temple Mount, one goes on the left of the Temple Mount, and one goes around the side on the left, on the far left. He said he put his name there. There it is. But weirdly, he put his name on the Gentiles. You guys take it for granted, you Gentiles. You're like, oh yeah, because we know Christ. No, this is weird. This is totally upside down and opposite and backwards from the way it should be. But they didn't freak out because they know that David did it wrong. It's the fallen sukkah of David. They knew this, and so they didn't argue. That's why he could use Amos as his proof text. Now go to Exodus 23. This is the last thing. This went way longer than I planned. Way longer. Exodus 23, verse 20. Behold, I am going to send an angel before you to guard you along the derech, the way, the path, to bring you into a place, into Hamakom, I have prepared. I have prepared. Hamakom that I've prepared. This is when they're crossing through the Reed Sea. They haven't even gotten anywhere yet. And they cross through the Reed Sea, and then they come to Mount Sinai, and God says, in the future, I'm going to bring you into a place that I prepared for you. Go to John 14. John 14. This is so hard to do with one hand. John 14:2. In my Father's house. Whoa! In my Father's house. Where's that?
The temple.
It's in Hamakom. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it weren't so, I'd have told you that. Because I go to prepare a place for you. This is not Christ talking to his disciples. This is quoting Exodus 23. This is quoting Exodus 23. When you Jews, I'm going to, in the future, give you a place, a Hamakom that I prepared for you. And here he's applying it to believers. Sure.
I'm laughing because you keep doing that. And you did that when you were little, and it was funny. But I'm laughing because the church is now accepting that as normal.
Yes, they think it's normal.
Becoming what they are.
But this is my whole point. We accept it as normal. And we got to change the way we're thinking. It's not normal. Everything is upside down, backwards, and inside out from what we think it is in this book. Once you start seeing how weird it is, then you can see the power of what Yeshua was saying. Because he's mirroring back to the Torah constantly. Constantly. And if I go and prepare Hamakom for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you can be too. Where did Yeshua die? In Hamakom. Where does Yeshua come back? Hamakom. That's what he's saying. And the shin, I'll just do 3 fingers. The shin is on our heart. If you want Yeshua anywhere near your soul, you have to look at it this way. It's Jewish. It's a Jewish concept. It's a Jewish, weird, upside down and backwards thing. And then you'll start seeing more and more and more of how amazing this is. So I've done everything I can do to try to get those juices flowing, into mine. So let's pray. Hopefully God will keep this going. Lord, thank you so much that you always do everything unexpected. You always do everything Jewish, and you always do it differently from what you yourself set up to do, so that we can see how amazing the pictures are. I ask that you would, by your Spirit, that you would take these concepts of Hamakom, and impress it like into the clay of our soul, of our lev, our heart, our racham, our empty place in our heart, that you would impress it in there, and it would grow and grow and grow. That seed would become bigger and bigger and bigger, all throughout your body. In the name of Yeshua. Amen.
Amazing.